Hi again, and welcome back for more Explore Tulsa.
I tell you what, I had my doubts about wearing a kilt, but I kind of like it. Comfy, plenty of room with just the right amount of breeze.
Oh, brother, look, you're supposed to save your kilt for Scotfest.
Well, it's going on now, and I'm heading right over there after the show for the big fun, music, and sport.
It's kind of a funny story. What we basically try to do is take everything you see in Outlander and add kind of a rock music element to it and kind of bring it to life. That's a really generalized way to describe it because there's so many moving parts. But it started 38 years ago. A group of off-the-boat Scotsmen got together and decided that they wanted to celebrate the culture. Just so happened we've actually had a Scottish club in Tulsa since the 1950s, so there was already kind of a foundation of people that were wanting to get involved. And so they got together and figured, we'll get some bands, we'll get some pipes and drums, we'll throw some telephone poles around, and that's how it started in 1979. My grandparents were good in recognizing that knowing where you come from is a really important thing. And my dad was always kind of interested, just kind of had a passing interest, and so I grew up eating Scottish food in the house, English food in the house, and as I grew older, being able to identify with where I came from and really understanding, not only where I came from, but what I'm capable of was really important. And so for me, it's become, now I have 3 children, and now all 3 of my kids, I have, we took one home from the hospital in a kilt, and it's symbolic of really just having a full understanding of who you are, because so many people go through life going, oh, well, my last name is Jones, but I know nothing about it. I don't ever want my kids, or for that matter, anybody that I come in contact with, to ever feel like they've never had that opportunity. So, like 10% of Americans can actually claim Scottish heritage, and one of the things that we've held to our core is the fact that we're always just one generation away from somebody forgetting. And so a big part of it is people being able to come out and learn more about their heritage. Everybody's got a story about how, oh, well, we're Scottish or we're Irish, but very few people really know the full story of kind of how their family began. Well, Scottish clans have been absolutely fantastic at keeping records for the last several hundred years. And so we bring a lot of those guys out, and it's all about educating people to understanding where they came from. And then on top of that, it's the athletics. A lot of people know Scottish athletics from people throwing cabers around, because it looks like a guy tossing a telephone pole. There are a couple more moving parts to that. There's the sheaf toss, the farmer's carry, stone throw. I mean, there's a couple of other things that most people don't recognize as really being an originated sport in Scotland. Yeah, whiskey's a big part of it. Beer's a big part of it. We actually bring out, this year we'll actually have 20 different taps on of different beers, and a number of different beers from Scotland, even some that you can't get in the state of Oklahoma regularly throughout the year. So they bring them in just specifically for our festival. There's piping and drumming. The music side of the Scottish culture is always been a major part of it. We have a big dance competition. There's been, Highland dancing's been around for the last 300 or 400 years, and that's grown each and every year. Now we're actually hosting a pretty big regional contest. Tons of food, and what Mike Myers says about Scottish food is not true. It is not based upon a dare. Scottish food, believe it or not, it's not just haggis either. There's lots of different things. Sausage rolls, you've got meat pies. My favorite is a bridie, which is like a flaky pastry with some fantastic meat and spices, and it's wonderful. And there's a big variety of not only Scottish food, but we also try to make it a little bit, more towards the American palate. We offer barbecue, and we're also hosting Euros from Ali this year. I mean, there's literally something for everyone. For me, I grew up in Oklahoma City, so seeing how different culturally Tulsa is from Oklahoma City, I think my dad would probably get mad at me for saying this out loud, but I think Tulsa is a little bit more refined than Oklahoma City when it comes to appreciating different cultures. We have the 9th largest Oktoberfest in the world. We've got a bustling Greek fest that's continuing to grow. Scotfest has grown over 150% in the last decade. We're up over 25,000 people through the gate every year. So it's a great feeling to be a part of seeing people identify more with that festival, whether it's because of their family or if it's just for the plain fact that they like to come out and have a good time with a bunch of gingers. Either way, for me, it's really gratifying to be able to see the kind of growth that we've had and to see people respond to it.